The macroeconomic headlines in the coming week are likely to belong to two sets of data from the UK. On Tuesday the 23rd of March we have the new unemployment data, and the day after that we'll get the latest monthly inflation figures. To start with jobs, economists will look to three headline numbers in particular. First, the unemployment rate. This crept up to 5.1% in December to confirm that 380,000 jobs had been lost since the start of the pandemic a year ago. Chancellor Sunak has extended the furlough scheme again, and measures such as that do seem to have helped in keeping the unemployment rate down, although economists will be well aware that job losses often continue even as we come out of recessions. Second, the claimant count. This hit 2.6 million people last time around. This includes not just those who have been unlucky enough to lose their job, but also those who are having to claim some form of unemployment-related benefit, such as universal credit. Note how the claimant count has shot up much, much faster than the unemployment rate. It's gone up by 1.2 million, more than doubling. If there's any good news here, it's that the claimant count looks to have stopped rising as of last August. The final number will be wage growth. For those workers who've kept their full-time posts, things have been looking up. Wage growth last month was 4.7%, the best figure since 2008 in nominal terms. This could be seen to support arguments about a K-shaped recovery, with some people doing really well and others really struggling. On March the 24th, economists will then compare that wage growth number with the latest inflation figures. If wages are growing faster, then generally consumers are better off in real terms, especially if they're in paid work, and therefore they're going to be able to spend more. That could help any recovery when people are confident enough and allowed to get out and about. There are three benchmarks for inflation, and wage growth beat them all flat last time round. The Consumer Price Index rose 0.7% year on year. The Bank of England's preferred metric, the CPIH index, which includes housing costs, well, that rose 0.9%. And the Retail Price Index, or RPI, no longer an official measure, that rose 1.4% year on year. We've also got a busy roster of corporate updates to assess, with mid and small caps providing the bulk of the commentary. Full year or first half results or trading updates to note could include the following, although please note that some of these dates may still prove subject to change. On Monday the 22nd of March, Kingfisher and Egyptian gold miner Centamin. Yorkshire-based construction and property development firm Henry Boot on the 23rd, house builder Bellway and Burford Capital on the 24th, and then Compass, United Utilities, funding circle IQE and veterinary services expert CVS on the 25th. But for me, the company capable of perhaps causing the biggest fuss in the week ahead will be Smiths Group. The FTSE 100 member will help to close out the week when it reports first half results on Friday the 26th of March. The shares are up by more than 80% over the past year thanks to hopes for an economic upturn, ongoing plans to spin out the medical equipment business, and also last autumn's resumption of dividend payments after the deferral of the interim distribution at this stage a year ago. In case you don't know, Smiths is an engineering conglomerate with four main divisions. John Crane, a leader in seals and couplings for industrial uses. Smiths Detection, a maker of scanners particularly for airports and ports. Flextech, a specialist in components for moving fluids and gases, and Smiths Interconnect, a maker of specialist electronic components. The fifth unit, Smiths Medical, provides specialist devices and consumables, including ventilators, infusion systems, and vascular access systems. That's due to be spun off, and Smiths Group now reports it as a discontinued operation. In terms of the business mix, John Crane is the biggest unit by sales and Interconnect the smallest. When it comes to profits, John Crane has the highest margins, followed by Flextech and Medical, with Interconnect again the lowest. As a result, in the last financial year, John Crane and Medical were actually the biggest earners. Now, when it comes to these interim results, analysts will look to the trends across the four main divisions and Medical for any signs of improving momentum. On an underlying basis, sales at John Crane rose 2% last year, Detection was flat, and the other core units were down, but all fell in the second half. January's first quarter trading statement did hint at some stabilisation in industrial business at John Crane and Flextech, but ongoing weakness in energy and aerospace at the same two units respectively. In terms of profits, all four core units were down last year to varying degrees, as was Medical, so again, analysts will be looking for improvements in the rate of change. In total, a year ago, Smiths made an underlying adjusted pre-tax profit of £160 million and a stated pre-tax profit of £46 million at the first half stage, so those numbers are your benchmark for the interims this time around. Finally, attention will switch to the dividend. Smiths did pass its interim payment at this stage a year ago, but then offered an 11p a share catch-up payment alongside a full-year distribution of 24p a share with its finals last autumn. Analysts have penciled in a total payment of 40p a share for this current financial year against that aggregate 35 from last time. In terms of strategy, finally, watch out for three things. Updates on that medical spin-off, progress toward the 70 million cost savings target that was laid out alongside last autumn's launch of a restructuring programme, and any commentary on the group's medium-term operating margin target of 18 to 20% on an underlying basis that compares to last year's 15%. I hope that you and your families are still all in good health and good spirits during these difficult times. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to talking to you again next week.